Good morning. My name is Benedick Howard, and welcome to the eBodyFUSION Hangout for, what's the date today? It's December the 5th, and we're just live now, so this is pretty exciting. I've got tons of stuff that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and really looking forward to giving you a summary of what's been happening at eBodyFUSION this year. We've got tons of amazing results, and so I'm really excited by all of that. And it's kind of difficult to keep track of it all. So I'm going to be, excuse me, but anyway, this is going to be extraordinary. So if you've got like pain, if you've got like anything that's you having trouble getting rid of, this is the place to be. And because what we found is that with this Russian microcurrent biofeedback devices, which in the 1980s they got an 88.50% cure rates, which is pretty phenomenal, isn't it? And then those cure rates, they really managed to, it was across the spectrum. It was like not only just pain and joint pain and back pain and this pain and everything, but the organs too. So if you've got like stomach problems or heart problems or liver problems or anything, they got like an average of an 88.50% cure rate. So that's pretty massive. And just imagine, how your life would change if you could take care of this simply with AA batteries from a little device kind of like this. This is actually the DENAS PCM, or it could be any of them, actually. It could be one of the old Rhythm devices, which actually this is the one from Professor Ravanko that I got in 2003 when I trained to the master's level with that. See the electrodes here? And it's got like AA batteries and a little chip in there, and you bring up and down the power and you put it into different programs. This is another one. This is by ENAT. This is their 911, extraordinary powerful unit as well. And so we've been just moving forward with all of this and really helping a lot of people massively change their lives. And so that's really extraordinary. And so just and you can do this at home. And when you do it at home, of course, you're empowering yourself to do all sorts of stuff. So, you're empowering yourself to move to another level in your own wellness. And as a wellness coach, it's extraordinary how, and I'm going to talk about this today, it's like we make these little changes in our lives, these short-term changes. And for some of those changes, you get huge, massive results. You get like, so you make these small little lifestyle changes, like a change in your diet or a change in your exercise routine, or get into an exercise routine. And each time you do that, you've got like this amazing changes that are happening in the body. So that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm just trying to get my little logo up here. When caching is not available. Oh, so it's not whatever it's doing. I can't get my little logo up on the bottom there. But anyway, eBodyFUSION.com. And let's see if I can just get another one in here. Not supporting when caching is available. Okay, well, I can't get my logo up there, and I don't know why caching is not available, and all of those things that all happens in the computer, and it makes it really confusing each time you do this. So here's my invitation to you. This is the last call for last hangout for the year 2015. We've had extraordinary successes, and I'll be sharing with you some of those later on. And I've got a really powerful offer for you, so stay right to the end. And because this offer is extraordinary. I've just began experimenting with it. It's actually the DENAS Vertebra. It's enabling us, and let me just hold it up to the screen here so you can get a little preview of where we're going to be going. And this is it. It has 48 electrodes on it, and so it works. You lie on this device, and you take care of your body from there. And also be talking about some of the accessories they have, like the comb, which is an amazing accessory. This is the acupuncture probe, too. And they have these electrical goggles or glasses that you put over your eyes. Actually, I should put them on now. Pretend to be the Lone Ranger. And that way, you can get the electricity into the body. And when you get the electricity into the body, I'll be covering that in the 7 secrets, electrical secrets, which is actually from a webinar that I ran about a year ago. And I came across it the other day when I was going through all my YouTube videos, and oh my God, I'd forgotten that I'd written all of this stuff. It was such great stuff to have done. And excuse me, I've got to shut down this window here. It's bugging me. Yeah, there we go. And let's just check that we are live over there on the eBodyFUSION.com/Hangout page. And yeah, there we are. We're live, so that's good. And you can join in to be part of the conversation too. You click on that link, and we should be loading you into a Q&A. Yeah. And showcase different things there. So I'm not going to spend more time on that window because I'll get totally confused, even more so than I am already. And I'm going to turn the volume down there so I don't get feedback. So today I'm going to cover, I'm reviewing what we've learned from this year in the terms of the healing and the massive amount of work that we've done with clients this year. And also we'll be talking about the discoveries, which actually what they are is that it's in application techniques. And basically we focused on the DENAS or the DENAS PCM this year, which is this unit. And the reason for that is, well, excuse me, I should have put it that way around. It's that unit. And the reason for that is that we have discovered that that is a very cost-effective unit. Plus, it has these ultra-low frequencies, which are down in the 0.1 to 9.9 hertz. And they are very good at stabilizing different situations in the body and bringing them back into harmony. So that's pretty cool. When also we're going to be talking about the coaching, especially because this year I introduced different coaching programs, group coaching and one-on-one coaching, and so I've got other, and the other thing I want to share with you is the plans for 2016. So if you're a therapist or a doctor or a chiropractor or anybody that's professionally working with people, you need to know about this technology. It surpasses lots of stuff. I mean, it's like the electricity. This is kind of like this hidden secret that the medical systems, and I mean also any of the medical systems, don't want you to know about. Because when you start to apply electricity into the body, especially with a device like this, you're going to get massive, massive results very quickly. In fact, some of the stuff that's been happening for me, I've been testing this for a month now, and also on my clients, etc. And I've been testing it for a month now. And so we've been getting phenomenal results. I love it. Oh, I wish I could get my logo down in the bottom there. Not caching when caching is not available. Maybe I need to go to here. Enable auto load. Huh. I can't get my logo up. Too bad. I really like to have the eBodyFUSION.com logo down on the bottom of the screen, so I'm just going to have to be talking about it. So let's talk about some of the results that I've been seeing. Now, you may know my story, and so please forgive me if this is a repeat to you. But back when I was 14, so that's 50 years ago, I had a wall. My father was demolishing a building. It was the end of the day. He'd left part of a wall up. Me being me, coming home from school, it's like, oh, look what Dad done. And I climbed up the rubble, and some of these blocks, cement blocks, came crashing down on my head and cut my head open and blah, blah. But anyway, what it did, it really crushed back in my back here, and it resulted in massive pain, especially between the shoulders in my 20s and 30s and 40s. And then also because of other injuries, when I was 15, 16, one of my skill sets as part of it, I became an engineer, but one of my skill sets is I'm really good at tuning systems, looking at systems, mechanical, electrical systems, and tuning them. And after I'd gone through engineering school, I really didn't want to be doing the standard stuff with General Electric anymore. I really wanted to pioneer just different stuff that's going on. So actually what I'm going to do today, later on, is kind of like remove the curtain, open my kimono, and let you see my, quote, lab. This is where I do all my work. Not only is this a yoga studio, which I have here, but I'll have to show you more, because I came from a spectrum of working a lot with sound. And it was from a decade or more of working with sound and healing and creating environments and training for people that I began to, and then when I found out about this electrical stuff from Russia, it was like the light bulbs went off for me. And it was like, wow, we've got this ability now to not only work with sound, but with these electrical medicines. And we call them microcurrent, because they're similar to TENS, but they're much less juice to them. And so they're not actually a TENS unit. They're highly advanced, evolved TENS units with biofeedback and a waveform that mimics the waveform coming down from our brain, coming down through the nerve fibers. So, when I was 14, this wall came down on me, and I opened up my head, and I ran into the house, blood streaming down my face, etc. And what happened was it got worse and worse over the years. The doctor said that they needed to operate. I refused, and I'm glad I did, because it has brought me to this place, and the ability to train and coach people with massive, massive pain, not just musculoskeletal. This could be any spectrum of pain. It can also be psychological pain too. So it covers a whole gambit, and more on that in a bit. But back to my story. So in the 20s, I had, frozen shoulder, frozen neck, etc., and very, very powerful. And I see we have some viewers looking at the show, so Hangout. So, hey guys, good to see you here. If you have any questions, I do have a chat set up, and I'm not sure if it's showing up over there. But on that page below, there should be, let me just go back and check. Oh, it hasn't popped up yet. Yeah, right below where you've got questions there. And so if you have any questions, put them in there. I remember, let's see. Okay, I need to grab that page and take it out of this page and put it over here so that I can really see what's going on. Excuse me, guys. Just a little technical stuff. And below that page, there's you can put in your comments. So please do that, and I'll promise to get those answered during the call. I've already had a few questions coming in by emails, and we'll get to those shortly. So back to my pain. Well, my situation. So I had massive lower back pain. I was designing stuff for General Electric, and was going out in the field and then testing that equipment, and then running back and then redesigning and, tweaking it. And I was very good at it. Made them a ton of money. And I realized by the time I was like in my 30s, late 20s, early 30s, that this wasn't for me anymore. And I kept on getting this message, quit. And I'm going like, no, what am I going to do? You know how it is. You've got a steady job. You've got this money coming in every week. You've got your budget. You've got your payments, et cetera, and everything's balancing out. Well, I can tell you that is just an illusion. It took me a long time to get past that. And a lot of inner work, as to allowing the universe to bring that abundance to me. I thought it was like after work I had to go, and et cetera, like most of us are caught up in that rat race. Well, when I quit, the universe kind of like conspired to assist me, and I love working with my hands. I'm really good at working with my hands. I used to build racing engines, et cetera. So I decided that, I'd work in construction and do that thing and make some money and buy houses and sell houses and stuff like that. So I renovated houses and made some money off it. And then in 87, I was given the opportunity to take over the work of a Dr. Randall Baer. Now, he'd worked with creating unified energy fields, and I'm going to show you one when I open my kimono later on. I'm going to show you one of these sacred geometry sound environments that I created. So Dr. Baer actually moved on. He actually was killed in a car wreck, and he was only like 33, an absolute genius. And it was a great shock to the whole community. And because he had brought forth a whole knowledge that is based around energetic medicines. And that's what I love to do. It was like, wow, here I am. I'm learning all of this stuff. It's working really well. And so here we go. And so I took over his research in 1988, I think it was. And we had these massive unified energy fields, and we would sit in them and meditate in them and do all sorts of research. And essentially, it was kind of like I was born into this work. It was like it was a very natural progression for me. I recognize that now. And there was stuff that I knew intuitively, and there were messages. As a kid, I was always getting messages from the other side. I could see auras, and I could see and hear things. There was always something, when I came to a situation that I needed help with, there was like this little message that would go off, and I'd go like, oh, and then work it out that way, and sure, it would work. So I had that connection back to source, and I lost it in the 20s, as one does. It's like, rah, rah, I'm an adult now, I'm over 21, etc. But by the 30s, I was like, back in the late 80s, early 90s, I was really heavily investigating into the meditation, into the empowerment stuff, into the whole routine, kind of like the New Age stuff that was going on then. And then at the same time, I began to realize that there were things missing in those concepts. And one of the things was like a higher choice as to how to spend my life in order to facilitate and help people and bring that understanding and that communication and that knowledge to folks. So this year, actually 2015, has been really important because I put together very structured programs for training people, with lots of training videos, etc., plus my group support. And we did group support for most folks. Some of them just did it alone, but most folks came into the group support programs, and some came into the one-on-one programs. And one of those was an IBM executive, Dave, and he excelled in this, and now he travels all the time, dear man, and he's got a pretty intensive work schedule routines. And so he's been using, actually, he bought one of these devices plus the accessories, like the goggles and the pad set, because these ones are really good for putting on your back when you're traveling and stuff like that. And he learned through the training how to take care of all of the first aid stuff that happens when you're traveling. You get a bug, a stomach flu, or sore throat, or infections, and you can take care of all of that right there and on the spot. Well, if you've been around Scania for a while, this is nothing new to you, but if you haven't, it's really interesting. And when I get to the 7 secrets and open my kimono, I'll share with you, open the kimono, metaphorically speaking, and show you my lab here and where I do all my work and my research and writing and putting together programs like this hangout for you guys. And incidentally, we had a hangout last month in November, and oh my God, that thing went absolutely viral. I did do some advertising to it here, but nonetheless, there were phenomenal number of people watching it. And that brought to me, I mean, they were watching it for hours. We had, like, I'll just give you the stats here. We have one, which was the November hangout. At the last count that I saw, it had gone to, well, let's just click on the link here. It had gone to over 110,000 clicks or something. I think it was what it was. It was minutes. We had 10,576 clicks, and I think it was 111,000 minutes was watched just on that one video. So an average of like 10, 12 minutes. So people are really interested in what we have here, and I do encourage you to really investigate with me more. Come to my site, eBodyFUSION.com, and go check it out, and also sign up to actually a free assessment that I have there. And in that free assessment, I will detail, and you will detail to me what your needs are, and I'll get back to you. So that's one of the things I do for free for you guys. This is another one that I give you these Hangouts for free to you. And so, over the years, I started to do some yoga, and that really, really did make a difference. And although, of course, I couldn't touch my knees, basically, at that stage, now I do this gnarly, gnarly yoga. In fact, if I had some shots, you wouldn't believe the poses that I can get into. Pretzel poses, I call them. And then I actually wound up going to Africa for about a year and staying with different tribes there in the 80s and learning a lot about African percussion and that whole group consciousness that comes out of those traditional African pieces, where the drums represent the different members of the different family units, and the master drum is over on top of everybody, and there's like a kiddie drum that's going off beat, but directly off the beat, so it's like tick, 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 tick. And there's other drums in there, and the bell part, which is like the highlight, the heart of the piece, and in that music and that percussion that I was then learning actually paved the way for my working with sound later on, and that in turn paved my way for working with these electrical medicines, and which is the focus of today's talk. Now, in a bit, I'll be, and I encourage you to stay to the end because I will have an extremely interesting offer. This is going to be run prior to Christmas, and I want to get these devices to you ASAP so I can get you into training. But on one of them, this new product, the Vertebra, this device, I have a group training that we're going to be starting in January. And already we have one of my star students. His name is Chris, and he's actually training people and working on gold medalists in China. They've had phenomenal results. Back in the Russian games, they got 2 golds, and I believe it was 2 golds and 2 silvers, something like that. Swimming, this was. And so these guys are really at the cutting edge, or Chris's and the people that have been in the training with me are really at the cutting edge of what these devices can do. It's way beyond the classical Russian training. So if you are a therapist that has already trained with the written people, the stuff that I've got is light years ahead of that. So, get in on my training too, because it'll offer you huge opportunity to really understand what it is and why it is, what is happening on people when we use these devices. So eBodyFUSION.com. That's eBodyFUSION, FUSION.com. And so over the years, my back was pretty good, and I guess the sound environments, which I'm going to share with you later, whereby you both hear and feel the music, that was part of my own discovery or own needs to help me with my chronic back stuff. And by then it was like shoulders were locked. At times my neck, I couldn't twist it at all. My back would freeze up, would be exceedingly painful. And as you guys know with back pain, how that can be debilitating. You can't even think straight. It's life changing. But I kept going with the yoga, and then I dropped out of it, and then I got back into the yoga in about 1999, I guess it was. And of all the yogas I started working with was the Ashtanga yoga. Now, that's an exceedingly vigorous, intensive daily routine. And you do like an hour and a half each day. Well, by the 6th month, I was beginning to be able to touch the floor with my knees straight, and I was beginning to be able, but doing back bends and some of the other stuff, even though it had been 6 months of daily work, my body was fatigued. And I took a break and then actually moved to London with my kid then, and Sterling and his mum, and on the thought that I would be promoting the sound environment work into England. And interestingly enough, we ended up right in the center of London, right on this ley line, if you know what a ley line is. And these geometries, these sacred geometries, have powerful effects on that. And there's a whole thing that happened there. But what I discovered in London and what I was introduced to was the rhythm scanner work. And, this work, this unit, or those units then, had already achieved an 88.50% cure rates across all the disease groups in the 1980s clinical trials, Russian clinical trials on 18,255 people. No small clinical study. And, in fact, a very large one, right? And in the musculoskeletal group, it was way over 90-something%. And since then, we've got better at it. However, there are compromising things, especially in the Western world, in the old-fashioned one, where we've got GMOs and medical systems and all the indoctrination that I can go on. And if you like me on Facebook, you'll see some of my comments. I'm just like highly into this whole movement of taking back our power and changing the face of medicine. In fact, that's what is one of the things that happened for me this year. It was like I had to really take a look at what is my cause here? What is it that I really bottom line want to do, with folks? And having worked with this electrical microcurrent biofeedback for, now it's been 2002, so we're going 2016, so it's basically 14 years. And worked on hundreds of clients, thousands of clients, and I've trained hundreds of folks, and they've all had spectacular results, with the exception of one or two groups, and I'll show with you what that is later on and why. So so what it gave me was like, well, what these clinical studies prove, and ongoingly, everybody that uses these devices a lot, usually, they will get, well, it's not always a lot. Sometimes, a little sprained muscle can be very quickly taken care of. But long term, if you've had a disease for several years, you need to use them a lot. And that's why I love this vertebra unit, is because you can do some of the complicated back protocols that previously it had to be a therapist working on you or somebody who was really trained to do it. Well, the vertebra unit now has its own algorithms in there, and more on that later on, that take care of all the back situations. And because the spine connects directly into the brain, and because you're energizing the spine and you're energizing all of the nerves coming out of the spine into the different organs in the body, and also up into the brainstem and up into the brain, you're linking up all of the nerves in the spinal column into the body and back into the brain with this device. So it's like very powerful if you've got like any stomach problems or any intestinal problems or anything like that. This will get care of you. Also, what I've noticed, one of the things that happened to me because I couldn't exercise in my late teens, I was a long distance runner. I got asthma after that, and after I had the wall coming down on me. And so all of these things came forward for me, and I couldn't run anymore. I couldn't do any sports. I was kind of like, it was before or right at that time when the inhalers started to come out. I guess in what year was that? I forget now, but I remember being with some medical students that I was living with in London. And they said, oh, come along, this will work really good for you. And they gave me a Ventolin inhaler, and it changed my life. Oh, in that moment of taking that first inhale. And so, working my body in earnest since basically the year 2000 with this daily routine of the Ashtanga practice really did allow things to loosen up. However, in the loosening up, of course, there would be healing crises, and the neck would go out, and the back would go out, and the lumbar would go out. And I began to learn how to use these devices more and more effectively for chronic situations like that. And if I'd had the vertebra at that time, if it had been around, it would have made a huge difference way sooner, quicker than by doing the protocols on one's back, which is difficult, or having somebody to do it and going to the therapist to do it. These things you can, if you have a chiropractor that has these in their office, that's one of the focuses that I'll be moving for in 2016, is to bring these into therapists and really train them to effectively use these devices on you. Or you can take one home, and or you could use it at home, and I highly recommend that because it saves you the time, etc., and the doctor's visits, etc. And it's a powerful thing to self-treat your sovereignty, your soul, yourself, without all the quackery that goes on with the standard medical systems, which is quackery. Let's face it. Look at the death rates. With 44 people die from overdoses from pain pills every day. I mean, this is absolutely absurd. There's no need for any of those pain pills. These devices take care of it. Not only do they take care of the pain, but they create the pharmacopoeia for putting and restoring that degenerative disc. MRI proven. Go to my website, eBodyFUSION.com. Look at the video there. MRI proven, before and after. He had stenosis, he had bulging discs, he had degenerative discs, all gone. He's now back in life and living and working and enjoying life to its fullest. And so this is not a unique one situation. This is across the board. Everybody that uses these these tools will get the results so long as they use them enough, and that is huge. So you've got to use these, and you've got to know how to use them. And that's what my training really does, is it helps you to become confident and competent at using this. And if you have like coaching needs, then, we're going to really look at the goals and really, I'll be holding you accountable to what's going on. So back to my story now. So I start using this, and at times I'd have major healing crises, and in my back and spine, lower back, and I'd be crawling around out of bed in the mornings. And over time, what happened was, because I've been learning more about how to use these devices and how to work them, over time, what was happening is my back got better to a point now where it's amazing. I mean, I can do full back bends. I can't do back drops, but I can do high back bends now. If I do heavy work, like heavy manual work, I can really solve any pain that comes up there quite quickly, if it comes up. So basically, at 64, I've taken a degenerative back that was major pain in it, to a place where it's a healthy back, and I'm living pretty healthy. I can hike, I can run, and I try to do my yoga every morning. I didn't actually do it this morning. Yeah, it was a little cold, even here in Hawaii this morning. But now it's just a super beautiful day with blue sky and little puffy white clouds on the horizon. And it's just a gorgeous morning here. So how does it work? I'm going to get to that in a moment, and I'm going to reveal the 7 secrets of electricity, the 7 healing secrets of electricity. Well, actually, why don't I give you the first one, which is actually probably the most interesting. Well, they're all pretty cool. You remember when I was talking earlier about the signal that comes from here and comparing it to a TENS unit and how it mimics the electrical signal going down our brain, going down our nerve fibers to our fingers, saying now, but to different parts of the body? Well, that has a very specific waveform. And what these devices do is that they pulse that waveform into the body. So it's like totally organic. It's something that's happening there in the first place. But the electrical stim, the electricity that goes in there, and especially when it interacts with the C fibers, when it interacts with the C fibers, which are the long fibers that are in the spinal column, in the gut, the Russians say that it releases this pharmacopoeia of basically protein building blocks into the bloodstream, and then they are then there's a cascade effect where some of them will grow and be put together into bigger molecules, and then some will be used to maybe repair that degenerative disc, and some will be used to create different balance in your hormones and your attitude and stuff like that. So it's balancing out your emotional state. Some of them are used, there's a whole, huge effect that these natural pharmacopoeia of these natural substances that are already in the body that are released by this signal. So, yeah, you don't need to rely on outsources of nutrition for some of these complicated things that need to be repaired and rejuvenated in the body. And electricity, thanks to the Russians and the work they did, isn't it amazing what's happening in Syria with them now? You know, and Turkey and this whole thing that's going down there with Russia, like cleaning up stuff that, of course, unfortunately, our so-called government, which is actually is not a government, it's a private corporation, has perpetrated for, you know, the United States has been at war for 200 and something years. It's like out of its 235 years of existence, it's 200 plus years. It's like 13 or 14, I think, years that America was not at war with somebody. So what does that tell you about this nation? And so Russia now has been able, because they have had the physics, which the American university system won't release to anybody. They've had the physics that can really determine and create different ways of looking at systems. You know, my engineering background here. You know, they have a way of looking at physics and how systems work very differently than what we do in the West. So that's a huge reason why this is so powerful to begin with. But also, there's been a mitigating circumstances, and let me just detail that, because you might be interested in looking this up. You'll catch this on my other Hangouts too. But Scott Mumbry wrote this book, Medicine Beyond, and on page 354, there's a whole chapter on what we're talking about here. And if you go to Amazon.com, you can go look it up. Actually, if you go to Amazon.com, look up Medicine Beyond by Keith Scott Mumby, and check it out, and then you'll be able to see. Actually, you'll be able to open the book up. You can read the whole book online. It's kind of like difficult. It's 515 pages. But at page 354, you can read what he's been saying about, or he's been writing about this technology. Now, this isn't anything. I mean, that book is like just a tiny little minuscule of what you get taught in my trainings and coaching. But the situation there is that the powers that be really have stifled the release of this technology because there's, quote, no money in it. Oh, my God, what a shame. All those corporations go to dust. And medical system, instead of being in the hands of these elite killers, excuse me, doctors, but that's the reputation that you have publicly. And I know individual doctors are thoroughly against this, but they're still licensed and they're still working in that system. And a lot of them are good doctors, but a lot of them just do not get, because they haven't been taught how to think. You know, for instance, a doctor's training, how many hours of nutrition do they get? 9 hours. You know, it's just like things like that just tells you why we've got these problems. You know, and as a wellness coach, which is what my main gig is, and I choose to live a life that's full of wellness, eat right, exercise right, and, keep my body active and keep on learning. I just love to keep on learning new things and new ideas and putting new concepts to test and learning how to articulate them to everybody so that, the layperson can understand them. And so when you've got like all of these systems that are really against you producing a vibrant, healthy life, and that's sad. I've been reading another book recently. I got this book. This is an excellent book. It's wellness coaching, for lasting lifestyle change. Second edition is by Michael there. And in this book, it's a step-by-step training for wellness coaching for lasting lifestyle changes. And in it, it's got some really good tips in there. And I've been looking through this because, I need to brush up and see what everybody else is saying about, wellness coaching. However, my specialty is actually not only the wellness coaching, but it's really training you how to use these devices and how to use them competently and confidently. And again, my website is eBodyFUSION.com. And in that training, you get detailed support to really master whatever that situation is that's going on in your body. And that's what I bring to the table here. That's what makes, and that's what's going to make a difference in 2016 for you. So it's, you know, my invitation to you is, hey, come in with us and we'll support you and hold you accountable to as a coach to really making 2016 the year that you get really, really healthy. And so, you know, just I'm offering that goal to you. Does it sound good? Well, of course it makes sense. And, you know, what happens in this change is that once you have set like a goal to get really healthy, say in 2016, once you've set that goal, then we need to break it down into its little components. You know, you need to know, you know, how your diet is, how your exercise is, where your pain is, and there's different qualifiers in there. And in the free eBodyFusion assessment, and go to eBodyFusion.com and check it out, you know, I ask those different qualifiers there, and because it really helps me to understand very quickly, and I don't need the whole story and the history of all of the history, right? And talking about history of diseases and things. There's this book by The Illusion of Disease by Mike Adams. And basically he's chronicled, you know, the whole shenanigans that's going on in the medical system by the way that they're trained to indoctrinate you into believing that, you know, the medical system is the only way that you can get out of all of your pain. And, or the medical system is the way to, you know, the medical diagnosis, more specifically, is what is the illusion of disease. Because especially in this electrical medicines, I don't need to know specifically what your quote story is around that diagnosis. Yeah, okay, we're going to work on that. The problem with all of that, and this is why, you know, Mike wrote this long, long book, you know, 250 pages or so. You know, it's really about, you know, here's a quote from him: a mental shift to awareness can change your reality. You know, it's like the universe is at your command. And I quote from here, page 158, The Illusion of Disease. The universe is at your command, so to speak. And that's what we're going to be, well, that's what we're going to get at here. We're going to show you ways to change your life at its very core. Not just changing what you do and the results that you get, but changing who you believe you are. And that's where the coaching comes in really powerful, because, you know, we've been so brainwashed, indoctrinated, whatever your words you want to use. And you know, it's very interesting. You know, it's so subtle, but over the generations, I've seen, you know, how not subtle it is. And so not just changing the results you get, but changing who you believe you are. And this is the big one. Now, to get started with that, first we should talk about a phenomena, and that I call the persistence of reality. And there may be some other names in this very scientific circles, and I'm sure some academics have more technical sounding names, but I call it the persistence of reality. So until you change that reality, until you get off that hamster wheel, that medical treadmill, you have the reality that you're going to sit in. Okay, I've got XYZ, I've got Crohn's disease, I've got this lung disease, I've got this, that, the other. That's your reality. And illusion, that's the illusion of disease, because the medical system is designed to really reinforce this detrimental system into a detrimental way of looking at your health in order to make more money for the pharmaceuticals. And that brings me to a point here. Here's an article in Popular Science, which one? I think it was like July 2015. And on the front cover, they had like this thing which was talking about a way to, where is it? Anyway, I open up the article. We see your pain. Now, this is how ass backwards these people are. Here they have developed a device to look at the different parts of the brain that have that are recording pain. And if you have hip pain, it'll be in one part, and different parts of the brain will light up. Well, now they have this, they've been doing all of this research, and they're probably going to put in another, a couple of $100 million into this diagnostic stuff. Well, shoot. Ask the patient. Duh. That's how simple it is. But now they go and reinforce this. And now they got this MRI device. Now they're going to have whatever they call this one. The technique promises a better way to prove the existence of chronic pain. Huh? Why do I need a frigging device to tell me that I've got chronic pain? I'm living with it. And this stuff makes me really angry, because this is all part of this diagnostic indoctrination BS. And it's everywhere. This is the stock market stuff. This is the way that the stock, oh, wow, they've got this device now. Well, yeah, and then we're going to go public with it, and we're going to make money off it, and then they're going to put it in all the hospitals, and then they're bullshit. Bullshit. Total bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm not a little mad on this at the moment. These little devices do the same thing. They diagnose exactly where you need to go, and they treat it in one little device. How simple your life can become. It takes care of all my hours on my kids. It takes care of, I don't have swollen glands, but, if I were to have a sore throat, if I were to have, toothache from stuff, I got so out of the system that I was pretty poor. And the system, excuse me, I lost my train of thought there. I got so out of the system, and I was, monetarily really poor. And my teeth I lost a filling. Well, in that process, I had a raw nerve there, and I learned to work with it. It was a very fascinating study. It was very different than working with, say, lumbar pain or lower back pain or mid-back pain or shoulder or neck pain. Very, very different. These devices take care of the worst pain. One of the videos that you will see is my video with Chris, and I learned a technique, I discovered a technique that in the moment where he had third-degree burns down his arm, and you can see the video on YouTube, and he had third-degree burns on the arm, and kaboom, we turned off all the pain. Not only that, you'll see in the video, the slides, and the video shots, and Chris talking, and everything else. It's just a short, little, quick video. And not only that, but 12 days later, all of these wounds, which were like the size of 3 3/4 from a gasoline burn, were completely healed off. There was no scars. Most of the scabs, there was just one little scab left here. The rest was all gone, and there was zero scarring. When that happened, it changed my life. And I'm so glad that I got a video of it, because if I hadn't got the video, I would have gone like, whoa, I don't know what I'm talking about, or I would not have believed it. Because, like you, I have been indoctrinated just the same as you, although I think more out of the box than most people because of my background and my expertise at looking at systems and getting them running and up and perfecting them. And that's the skills that I bring to this electrical medicines for folks. I mean, I've had 3 people that have trained with me, doctors who've trained, gone through all of the regular scanner training, and they still don't get it. And they come in with me, and through the course, they understand the deep effect of why and how electricity works on the body. So I've already given you the first secret, which was the waveform mimics the waveform coming from the brain, and so that the signal is totally organic. It's not the same as with the TENS units. Those are not organic to the body at all. So, hey guys, we've got 8 viewers in on the call. That's really exciting. At least 8 viewers. That's just what my thing is saying here. So let's go over there and see if there's any questions. And I will be offering at the end of this a special for you on the vertebra. So, and some other stuff too. Sorry about the helicopter going past. I hope it doesn't come through. I've got noise cancellation on this headset, but It may be coming through. I'm not sure. Yeah, here we go. I'm just going to refresh this page and see if there's any questions that have been coming through. So if you've, yeah, you need to, okay, that'll come through. Let's see. Do we have any questions? Oh, I see. The questions box is not loading right away. So if that's you, sorry about that. And I'll get back to that in just a moment after it's loaded and see if there's any questions from you guys. So, you know, this, I'm jumping all over the place, and I realize that, and I really want to tie it down and sort of settle down, but I really wanted to share with you a bunch of information right at the beginning of this, at the beginning of this Hangout, because it has, obviously, there's a ton of interest going on with this, and one of the things that I'm doing, and I want to show you my notebook here, just very briefly. This is the sort of data that we can collect. These numbers indicate very specific stuff that's going on in the body. And what I'm doing here on this set of numbers here, for instance, is I'm actually cataloging how the numbers that this device gives and the numbers that this guy gives. And actually, they correlate very, very closely. So I was interested in doing that little piece. That's part of some of the research that we've been doing this year. And it's important for you guys to know these devices, they all work exceedingly well. So whether you buy an Avasia unit, these are made in America. The handle is way too short, but they have the electrodes on them, and they have the programs in them. This is the bottom baseline. Whether you buy one of those or you buy one of the DENAS units, these are excellent. This is actually one of the PCMs, but the DENAS T is really, really good too, but it doesn't have the infra frequencies on it and the presets. This is one of the units from the Ukraine. This is the ENOT 911, top of the line. So many programs in here, it'll befuddle you. Literally. When I use this device, I use like 3 or 4 of them. But if you were to buy from me, and actually I don't deal with any of the transactions on the ENOTs anymore. It's too risky. I'm not going to put myself in a place where the device gets lost or things get worse and they stop exporting and blah, blah, blah. But if you want one of these devices, I'll hook you up with them and get you a good deal on it. This is one of the devices from the Rhythm Group. Now, these people, if you read the Keith Scott Mumber's book, you'll get it. But let me briefly tell you some of my experiences with these people. Excellent units. Nothing wrong with them. Problem is the turfdom that comes with their training. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that they're not telling you the whole picture, and they are deliberately shorting you out, shorting your change on how these things really work. You know, one of the things that happened this year, I do a lot of copywriting for all of this stuff, and I don't mean copywriting as a legal thing. I mean copywriting as sales copy. And one of the things that I learned when I was going through some of these sales letters I write take me a week or 2 to write. And that's why copywriting is so expensive. There's a lot of thought process that goes to it. But in that process, what I realized was that, that my bottom line has been, since the 80s, is to change the face of medicine. And later on, I'm going to show you, actually in a few minutes, I'm going to show you behind the scenes here, into my lab, my sound and electrical lab. It's not a lab with dials and things over it. No more, it's just an environment that I created that I can do this work in. And so when you have, the technology, this technology, you can work any system, you can work anybody, you can work yourself. And if you were like Chris Hoffman, a sports coach, you can really dramatically, quickly get your players back on the field whatever it is, or in the water, or whatever it is that they're doing very, very quickly with this technology. Probably in the order of, well, for instance, torn ligaments, if you get right on it, you can heal those ligaments in 12 days completely, and they will be working on that ligament, that torn knee, or whatever it is, back, whatever it is, shoulder, rotator cuff, whatever it is, they will be working those. They still exercising, so the body doesn't go out of fitness. And that's important, with a sports person. It's like you've got to keep the muscle tone up and running. And so these devices allow that person to not only deal with the pain issues with it, but the pharmacopoeia that I was talking about earlier literally provides the building blocks out of which whatever is ripped in terms of like a torn ligament or open wound to very, very quickly heal. And that's huge. So, there's big money in this. In fact, in the Australian Olympics, the Australian press called it the Russians' secret weapon. And so, these devices like, all powered by 2 AA batteries, that's all that they have inside them. I mean, it's like this device. I got 2 rechargeable batteries in it. They last for hours. So you can imagine how little or how much a little bit of electricity does. And of course, this is way, way different from all of the Nazi-style psychological stuff that they've been doing with shooting huge currents in order to lobotomize people, and all of that really archaic, dark stuff that's been done in the medical people by the medical people. When you give these tiny little tingles, and that's all you feel, it releases the body's own energy. And if you think about it, what happens when you flip the switch on the light bulb? The light bulb lights up. So what happens, and here's the number 2 secret, what happens is that when you put electricity into the body like that, not only are you releasing the pharmacopoeia, but you're also, number 2, you're tightening up the cell membranes. What do you mean by that, Ben? Well, okay, what I mean is that the cell membrane has a voltage across it. And when the cells are diseased or in pain, that membrane voltage is not at its normal 60, 70 millivolts. It drops to about 50, and then the cell dies off. So when you start to bring back the voltage in the cell membrane, this nanometer, I think it's like 7 to 10 nanometers thick, tiny, thin cell membrane wall. It has like 70 millivolts going across it. In fact, at a voltage density per meter, it comes out at around 30 million volts per meter. So that gives you a little indicator of what's going on there. So that's another secret. The other thing is electricity is, now listen to this carefully, the world's most powerful and cheapest source of antioxidants. Number 3. So antioxidants are important, obviously, and normally we get them from fruits and berries, for instance, and so we can get those antioxidants from our plant and in our diet. But by using these devices, we're also putting antioxidants in the body too. So that's how, for instance, heavy metals are excreted with this process, just by using these things, and other toxins in the body too. In fact, the other thing that happens is that the electricity kills the pain-generating organisms, which there's a Greek name for it, pathogen. You probably know that one. It kills those pathogens. So it kills the pain in the body. So there's number 4 there. So when you're applying this, you're also killing off those. What happens is that when you have pain, say, in your hip joint, the pain is in what's called biofilms, and those biofilms are congregations of different pathogens that are living symbiotically together in low energy parts of the body, like around the joints. for instance, with arthritis. Yeah, it'll take care of that too. But so you have, like in my hip joint, let's give you this example. I do the yoga, and this isn't happening nearly so much, but when years ago, and from time to time, even still, my left hip used to be exceedingly stiff compared to the right. And over the years, I've got it to a place where I can get into some of these gnarly Ashtanga poses fairly comfortably, and if I do it regularly, comfortably. Now, so I've been happy at that level of wellness. Now, what's been happening when I've been using the vertebra, for instance, because I don't have to rely on somebody else to do my back, the bottom of the vertebra, like this is where your head goes in the back of your neck. And the bottom of the vertebra here, these ones sit right on the coccyx and the lower pelvis. And so what's been happening actually is my left hip, which would sit on this side, has been clearing even more. And I can just feel it because I can feel when I go into a forward bend, for instance, I can feel that I can get deeper down into that forward bend, and it doesn't hurt there so much. So even though I've cleared a lot of the stuff, there is residue in there, and this is what's been so interesting about the month of you working with the vertebra, is that it's, well, for instance, a couple of days ago I did a double session. I did one session with they're like 23 minutes. I did one session for 23 minutes, and it was just the general, and I could feel it pulsing up and down the body. And then, and more on that when you get to this, we get to it, but more on that later. And you feel it all pulsing up and down the body, but it's really a concentrated way of self-treating your back and all of the organs that are in the abdomen and the chest, etc. So it's a very, very quick, easy way of doing that. So, you know, even though I've been using this technology for 10, 12, 14 years, there's still stuff that I'm learning. And that's why I love this work, because when I'm working with people, they all bring in their own, their problems, right? And every one of us is unique. So, you know, the protocols that we use in the training are unique to each person. And so we have, like, you know, that's why I ask you to go through that assessment so that I can get back to you and ask you, or show to you and tell you which devices and what you need to do to get to work with whatever's going on for you. Because everybody's a little different than that. Plus, I want to be in a conversation with you too. And when we're in that conversation, that allows me to really share this wealth, this expertise that I have with you very, very quickly. And so, you know, we're moving into 2016 now, and it is a good time for us to make goals and to set, you know, goals for 2016. And I'm inviting you to make 2016 the year to get really, really healthy for you. And so I have a special offer on. And let's go to that right now. Before I go to that, just think about it. I just want you to do in your own mind, you know, whatever it is that's going on for you, if you can, just take an inventory of how that's impacting your life. You know, so if you have, like I had, neck pain, or actually in chronic days, lower back pain, which meant that I couldn't do much. I mean, it was nasty. I mean, very, 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 very painful. I couldn't even think straight. I couldn't make short-term or long-term decisions. There's nothing that I could do. I didn't even know how to go out and get help because I didn't trust the medical system to get help from. I'd tried the acupuncture. It helped kind of a little bit. I'd tried the acupuncture. I mean, the chiropractic work. Well, that helped. I'd tried the massage. Yeah, that helped a little bit, but you know, unless I kept on going back and reinvesting my $100 each session in having that work done, you know, I didn't have that sort of money, and nor did I really want to feel under the power of these other people, simply because I had as a kid, this knowledge that things were way simpler than we make them. In fact, I was really good, and this is how I'd look at systems. I was really good at discovering the underlying causes or the underlying reasons or the underlying math, or when I was working sacred geometry, the underlying geometry, and how it was affecting the energy systems of the planet, or how it was affecting the people's our bodies. And so just take an inventory of what that is costing you. And, quite quickly it's going to add up to tens of thousands of dollars. And to fix it, that's another. Where do you go? You've probably gone everywhere. Most people that have come to me, they've tried what they call everything. And yeah, the big difference, though, in long-term results is really applying it like you would a business. So this becomes the business of you getting healthy. So it's eating the organic foods. It's eating a substantial amount of raw product because it's got all of the enzymes and the uncooked and they haven't been denatured from a cooking process. It's getting into an exercise regime, no matter where you are. And when you start using the vertebra, because it's the simplest thing for those type of chronic situations to use, self-use, you're going to be moving from a place of pain to a place where you don't have pain, or you maybe have pain, but it's for shorter lengths of time, and ongoingly it'll be shorter and shorter. Everybody's different on this. So, it really depends on your history and a whole lot of other things. But really it's about, this inner attitude, this inner desire, your heart's desire to make 2016 the year to get healthy. And in that, what you need to do is because, and this is where, the coaching and the training comes in handy. What you need to do is really keep advancing your nutrition and your exercise goals, because now you can do more exercise. You're not so tired. You can think straighter. And so as a wellness coach, there's a lot of things around the coaching, but basically the bottom line is to set little goals, little baby steps, and for me to hold you accountable to that, right? That's where my expertise is in there, and give you some advice with your permission as to different things that you could be doing. So, and for instance, on the on the DENAS or the DENAS PCM, with these ultra low frequencies, we can do some really interesting brainwave entrainment stuff with that too, which also helps to calm the brain down from the scatter and the fear and the lifestyle that you've been forced to live. This is not your fault. I mean, this is because the system does this to us, and over the generations we forget how life used to be and how the foods used to be. I mean, look at Putin's statement just yesterday, I believe it was, or 2 days ago. We want to export good, wholesome foods to the rest of the world because they're not available in the rest of the world anymore, right? Take America, take Europe. The lands have been stripped by the agricultural business, by Big Ag, and so we don't have the resources in our soil and stuff. So the foods are, to get non-GMO foods, and the disasters. I don't know how much you know about this GMO stuff, but the substances that are in the GMO are completely alien to all life forms on the planet. We have never seen these compounds on the planet before that GMO produces, and these compounds are hugely detrimental to our body, in our gut lining, everything is detrimental. So all GMO foods are designed to kill you. Just in case you didn't hear that, all GMO foods are designed to kill you. I'm sorry, but it's true. So get off the frigging GMO BS. So any processed food, all of the stuff, all of our veggies, a lot of them are being GMO modified now. So it's difficult even in America to get good organic foods. Yeah, because America's turned around and said everything's organic. Didn't mean anything, nothing to do with the organic standards, nothing to do with Rudolf Steiner's work with the stuff that he did with biodynamic farming, which was basically one of the bases of a lot of people's organic growth. None of this is shared. The GMOs are killers, and go to Mike Adams, look at Natural News. Go to Dr. McCullough. All of these people know about this stuff. They've been publishing about it. And so it's highly, highly detrimental. So you've got to get off all processed foods. Go paleo, get off the wheats. And I've been recently experimenting with that and using almond flour instead of wheat flour and making, say, a banana bread with almond flour and eggs and all of these proteins in there. And I just take a slice of that, and it is so nutritious. It fires up my body with energy for way, way longer. In fact, I'm going to bake some after I get off this call and get everything sorted out. And because these grains and these substances that are in any packaged food that you buy, it doesn't matter. You go to, and it has GMO in it, or it has other toxins in it too. And again, kudos to Mike Adams. He put together a lab that has been checking out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different packaged and different foods. For instance, he just released a couple of weeks ago, or was it 3 weeks ago, that zeolites, which have been used or thought were being used to take out heavy metals from the body, they contain up to 30,000 parts per million aluminum. Huh? So, Mike Adams is probably the top researcher that I know of that's out there in the public that's working on this stuff and sharing it. And, there's other stuff in there too, but, this data is available, and our foods have the rices, for instance, high in lead, barium, and other compounds in that too. So rices are not good for you. You've got to be very, very careful in the stuff that you eat. In our health food stores, those bins that we get the bulk products are sometimes contaminated too. And I found that out the hard way. So, it's a lot's going on in our food and nutrition stuff that we don't really know about. Stay off all sugars. Sugars cause cancers. And then a note on cancers. Look at what's been happening with the marijuana and all of these cures that are marijuana driven for cancers. Look at, there's so much stuff out there for us to look at. However, I'm only one of the few guys out there that's publicly talking about this microcurrent stuff, and because it is so dramatic, and my goal is to change the face of medicine. So this whole floor here is like the bed in the Dreamweaver behind me, and so that's what I'm continually doing, is working with sound, exploring with sound, combining it with the electrical medicines, etc., etc., etc. So it's like, sound and electricity have really become my passion and my way, or my vehicle for training people to get off the medical treadmill. So today I want you to go to, I'm just going to give you the link, and I'm not going to give you the price. I really want people that have come into this training, come into this work, to really understand that this is not some sort of hokey thing. And I'm telling you this because I have, over the years, noticed something about a lot of people that are attracted to this sort of work. And they seem to think that there's a kind of, it's arrogance, really, with all due respect, that they are going to get these results on their body when they've had a chronic situation in there for a year, 5 years, whatever it is. It ain't going to work. Or it's such a new paradigm, you're not going to know when it's working. Or you're not going to know when it hits you a month down the road again what to do. And so that's why I have this training that comes with this. Now, all of the products have some training, but basically it's just a simple get you up and running sort of a thing. But when you're looking at changing your lifestyle, when you're really looking at making 2016 as being the year that you get really healthy, it's going to take, with all due respects, putting aside that arrogance, humbling yourself, and really listening to an expert. Now, that could be me, or it could be somebody else, and that's fine. But really, what you need is somebody that's going to mentor and coach you, because you're not going to get the results unless you do it. Let me repeat that. There are a lot of people that have an arrogance around this work, these new tools. And they think that because they understand all of the technicalities of what this is doing, that they're going to be able to get the results. It isn't necessarily true. Well, it depends on the individual, but for most people, it certainly isn't true. So if you want to make 2016 as the year to get really healthy, then get yourself the support system in place that can hold you accountable to doing it. The advantages of doing that are immense. You can get off that medical treadmill. You will understand what's been going on in the medical system, in our political system, in our everything, judiciary, everything, because it's the same across the board. It has all been infiltrated. And you will be able to make those inner choices. In a legal sense, it's sovereign. You'll take back that sovereign power between you and the Creator to really listen to what those messages are telling you. And, so again, what's your pain costing you? Well, what's this lifestyle that's, you show up at work, you're tired by the end of the day, and you leave home, and you come home, and you maybe have a beer or a glass of wine, and you sit in front of the TV. That's the sort of lifestyle that you're going to be changing. You're going to be coming home, you're going to feel fresh, you're going to be eating better foods during the day. Your output's going to be clearer. Your whole being is going to be clearer. People are going to look at you and say, hey, Joe, John, Mary, Ann, whatever your name is. They're going to be saying, what have you been doing? You look so good. And that's what is available for all of us. But it's sadly not available through most practitioners, healthcare practitioners, because they are all licensed. And then in that licensure, they have to perform according to those AMA or that association's guidelines. And they're all controlled by the same people pulling the puppet, controlling us. And so it's heavily, it's heavily weighted against you ever getting better. Now, again, if you really want to make 2016 the year to get healthy, look at the price of what this is all costing you. It adds up into thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. But more importantly, the dollars is just one thing. It's lost time. You can never make back that lost time. Yeah, you can make more dollars and pay for it, but you can never make that up for the time that you've spent with years of having a chronic situation, years of taking medications that have been completely debilitating you and causing harm in the liver and in the heart and all the different organs that they are designed to make malfunction. And so it's huge what I'm offering you. So I haven't put together now. Okay, let me just go to the page here. The people that I work with in Russia, I've built up a relationship with them for a decade or whatever it's been, and I know the sort of results. I mean, just from a practical point of getting the results, getting the units from Russia. I, as a coach, don't give any 30-day money-back guarantee. I don't give any money-back guarantee whatsoever. If you feel that I'm the person to work with, and if you can resonate with who I am, then that's what I will be giving to you. That resonance, that support, that love, that caring, that advice, and holding you accountable. Then let's jump on board. But if you're kind of like on the wall and you're just like, well, I can get this for less money over here, and yeah, they say they have a training, and blah blah blah. Then I'm not the guy. If my prices are not the cheapest, and I'm not in that competition for price. I am in the competition with you to give you the best results, the best coaching, the best techniques, the best advice, the best complementary support mechanisms that you might need for the situations that you're facing, so that you can really get healthy in 2016. So I have a share that I want you to go to now. I'm asking you to sign up into this because I really want only to have people that are serious. If you're not going to sign up and give me your email, then that's fine. You can listen to this, but I'm going to share with you. Let me see if I can get to it. One moment here. It's SMART.it/vertebra. Okay, there we go. That's the link. SMART.it/vertebra. So let's just hold that down whilst I continue, and I'll try and hold it steady at the bottom of the screen there so that you can get it. How do I do this? That doesn't show. There we go. Now we get it. Too much light. Oh, that's pretty good. So I'll try and hold that there steady enough whilst I talk to you. Okay, so in the sales page, I have a special offer, and let me get to that. And here we go. Good. So I'm holding it up there. Did anybody? I don't see any comments coming in, so that's good. So there. I have to hold it up a little higher. And there we go. Okay, I can't hold it. Boy, I need a music stand or something for this. Oh, I see. It's not a dark enough pen. Maybe that'll help. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Akmon. No, I can't. For some reason, my system isn't loading properly. So let me just read it off. Do it the old-fashioned way. Now, on the order page, when you get to it, you'll see the price, and this price will be changing. At the moment, I can hold it, and you'll see the DENAS Vertebra in its latest model, the 2015 model. Actually, the model that's shown in that photograph is the version 1. The version 2, which is the 2015 model, has a green controller on it, and so you're going to get the latest DENAS Vertebra model with 5 sets of microcurrent therapy programs. And it comes in a sleek carry case, and it's shipped directly to you from Russia. And now we're already slowing down a little bit on the shipments, but it's expected in 10 to 15 working days. And it comes with the English downloadable manual. Now, I also have an update into the vertebra study group, which is worth $997. And I've got a very good price on this. I see I have to change. Oh, rats. I have a very good price on this. So you get it for $19.97, and then you can add in the vertebra study group, which is 4 weekly Q&A hangouts with myself, so that you get into the habit. And remember, we're talking about 2016, getting really healthy. Get into the habit of using it regularly. And we'll be starting that study group on January the 9th. I will be doing one over Christmas with Chris in China, because I really want to get him working with his gold medalists ASAP. So his unit's going to be shipping out next week to him, so he'll have it between Christmas and New Year's. This includes a lifetime membership to my to the eBodyFUSION vertebra training videos and assessment forms. And so they're worth, it's a whole package that's a very powerful package. Now you can get the unit without my training, without the study group stuff, if you feel you know what you're doing, and the price is there. And if not, you can just add in the total there, and you got it. You just click on yes, I will take it, and the price comes in. And there's also going to be a $92 shipping on there as well, and that way you can see the price as it comes through. So also add the shipping cost to that price you see there. I need to update this page. I see there's some stuff in there. Actually, I'll do that right now. Okay, I'll do that right after the call. So that's my offer. If that's what you want, I highly recommend it. I see I've got a couple of typos in the pricing on that page, so I'm going to be going in right after this Hangout closes to change that around. But meanwhile, let's get back to me looking at me instead of reading off the page here. Meanwhile, there's the link again. I wish I could get a better one. Yeah. Oh. Look what I have here. Here's a better one. There we go. So what have we been doing in 2015? Lots of stuff, and it's been quite an extraordinary year. We've discovered some of the data that I showed you when I showed you this page in the book that I'm working on my results. This sort of data, collecting this data ongoingly over the weeks, is very, very interesting, because it allows you to really predict when the body is going through different changes. I'm also going to be training with a lady on conversational intelligence for coaches. Basically, it's around, creating positively worded and positively attitudinal conversations with folks, so that you change the whole neurochemistry in the body with these positive conversations. Well, this is automatically happening when we apply these different when we apply this electrical stim to the body. So I'm going to be studying with Judith Glazier, and that's a photograph of her. So I'll be bringing some of this technology into our discussions as well, and I'll be going through that course in January. So, I love learning all the time. This is an example of cortisol and oxytocin producing behaviors. Maybe you can read this. This is kind of interesting, because really this is what we want to do in the long run, is be able to get into that blue spectrum stuff with conversations around in those blue notes, not into the red ones, which are the bad ones. And so I'll be doing that. So I'll be bringing those conversations to you as well in 2015. She has like a really powerful sheet here. I can't go into the details on this, but maybe you can screen capture this later on and learn from it. And let's see what else we got. Of course, put smart URL. Oh, I will be changing the pricing on this unit. Because of the Christmas special that DENAS is having right now, I just got the figures in last night, and just in time for this Hangout together with you. So I will be changing some of the prices. So if you want one of these, just let me know. Best thing is to get hold of me. So go to the website, eBodyFUSION.com, and in there you will discover the free assessment form. That's the easiest way to get hold of me. Just fill out that form, tell me what you need, and tell me what's going on for you so I know I can put a face to problems. And also put in your phone number so I can get right back to you and get you going. But I will be, if you're interested in getting the latest prices on any of these units, that's the place to go, is to eBodyFUSION.com. But for the vertebra, there's the URL again, smart URL IT. Is that back to front? It looks back to front. I can't believe it. Huh. I don't know how to correct that. To me, it's looking like it's back to front. Yeah, that's what it is. If I put the page around the other way, some of the ink came through it. So it's smarturl.it vertebra. Holy Moses, I didn't realize that this was back to front. I am so sorry, guys. Smarturl.it vertebra. And, let's make 2016, the year to get healthy. And, what's the price of your pain? What's it costing you? And what would it cost you if you were healthy again and if you could exercise? You get a longer life. You'd be able to handle and work with and hold your grandkids more. All of that sort of stuff, which as we get, older, that can be a problem for folks. So you can share your love more with folks. You can help others more. Everybody's a win-win for everybody when you do that. So again, my name is Benedick Howard, eBodyFUSION.com. I'm a wellness coach specializing in microcurrent and biofeedback and creating extraordinary results for exceptional people like you. Aloha.